my beautiful lovelies, it's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today we're making a very quick recipe because time is of the essence. We have a lot of things going on and we're trying to squeeze in a little sweet treat to share with friends and loved ones. So today we are making 5-minute Oreo fudge. Now fudge here in the US is a dense, sweet confection, typically chocolate in my experience. Very, very dense. You just need the tiniest amount. And the reason why I'm defining it is because across the pond in the UK, fudge is a little bit different. It is often not chocolate. It's more of a kind of blonde color, has more of a toasted brown sugary flavor, but it is dense and very, very sweet as well. So fudge is different things in different places. Today we are not making a chocolate version, we are making an Oreo version. You can find different flavors of fudge here in the States as well. There's peanut butter is quite popular, chocolate of course, all different kinds, mint, pistachio. If you want to see some other versions of easy fudge, you should definitely check out my previous videos. I've done a Velveeta fudge, I've done a no-fail chocolate fudge that uses marshmallow fluff, and I've done a very, very simple peanut butter fudge as well. So let's go ahead and get started with this one, Oreo fudge. I've never made this recipe before, but the technique and the amount of time involved captured me. So let's go ahead and get started. Not only does this only take 5 minutes, it only contains about 3 ingredients. I say about because I don't really include salt and pepper as an ingredient, and it's kind of optional. So we're going to add some salt, so that would make it 4. Fudge is typically quite thick and cut into squares, so I'm going to be using a square brownie pan. If you don't have a square brownie pan, you can use whatever pan you've got. So we are going to line it with some parchment paper. If you don't have parchment, you can just thoroughly butter this. I'm going to share with you a quick technique to get your parchment to fit your square pan. Fold the parchment into quarters. Take this point and estimate where the middle is going to be. For this corner, we are going to cut out like that and like that. Do you see the vision? And then we'll get a plus sign, right? And then we can just press the plus sign into the pan. Isn't that great? So easy. Another thing I like to do, especially if I'm baking a cake, for example, is to take these metal binder clips and clip this back. If we were to bake a cake, these clips are very handy because they're metal, and then we can pop this whole thing into the oven and not have the parchment flaps caving in. Next, we're going to take some white chocolate chips. It smells very, very vanilla-y. And we're going to place them into a microwave-safe bowl. We're going to do about 3 cups. So about 1.5 bags. Let's taste one. They don't taste chocolatey at all, but they have the same texture as chocolate. Same kind of consistency, but kind of buttery, very vanilla. And the reason why they're called white chocolate chips is because they contain cocoa butter. But I like them, especially when paired with macadamia nuts. That is a classic cookie for me. Now we are going to melt these. You can do it over a double boiler, meaning you can place this right over a pot of boiling water to gently melt them. Or you can do what I'm going to do and place them in the microwave. Now, be very careful. I'm speaking from experience here. These love to burn, even more so than regular semi-sweet chocolate chips. So while that is melting, we've got our Oreos, classic chocolate sandwich cookie. So we're going to do about 15 of these, almost exactly half a regular package of Oreos. It's kind of stretching a little bit like marshmallow, curious, but not melting very easily. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is add my 1 can of condensed milk. This is quite sweet. This is reduced milk with additional amount of sugar. Are going to return it back to the microwave to warm some more. I find a rolling pin very handy for this task. That's the look of my crumbs. Right. Coarse. Not too fine though either. I'm going to reserve about a half cup. So this was in for 50 seconds, and I think that's gonna help us, yes. The condensed milk is going to help us coax the white chocolate to melt, because on its own, it was kind of chunky. So my advice is to combine both the white chocolate and the condensed milk at the very beginning and microwave for 1 minute. We're gonna add our crumbs. So look at that. So fold all of the cookies into that mixture. So I saw another version of this where the crumbs or the cookie pieces were placed into the pan and then this mixture was poured on top. But most of the recipes called for adding the crumbs directly into the mixture, which I think gives you a more cohesive fudge. Place this into the pan. It's pretty malleable stuff. Look at that. Neat. It's like clay. Almost forgot the fourth ingredient, which is a bit of salt, just a pinch. This is going to be very sweet. I think the addition of salt is a good one. Now we're going to press it into the pan. And surprisingly, this is not very sticky. It's not sticking to my spatula, which I love. There's our fudge. It doesn't have to be too neat and tidy. A lot of the homemade fudges that I've seen look a little bit rougher. It's just when you cut them, they look a little bit more tidy. And often the tops are encrusted with whatever the flavor is. And in this case, it's Oreo. So we're going to generously sprinkle some Oreos on top. Kind of reminds me of some of those soaps. Have you seen those soap making videos where they make a loaf of soap and then they decorate the top of it and then they slice it? It's kind of like that. Push them in so they get kind of embedded into the candy. And now we're going to let this sit at room temperature for a bit before we place it in the refrigerator to chill for at least 2 hours because we want this to be sliceable. Alrighty, see you in a little bit. It's been several hours since we made our Oreo fudge and it's now cooled and set up. And let's go ahead and cut it and give it a taste. It comes out of the pan beautifully. There it is on the side. I like that thickness for a piece of fudge. And I think we should be able to get 36 pieces. We do a little over an inch. Oh, looks pretty good, right? If you want to give these as gifts, these would look really great in little cupcake holders. Right? Look how cute and dainty. It automatically makes it a little confection, right? Makes it feel so special with a little ruffle. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Look. So cute. Alrighty, lovelies. Here is the fudge all cut up, presented in 2 different ways. This is without the wrapper, which allows you to see the base of the fudge more clearly, or in the little wrapper, which obscures the sides a bit, but does make them look a little bit more finished. Cute, right? This version to me looks a little bit more polished, makes them look a little bit more like a candy confection. But this one has its merits too. I like that distribution of cookie in the fudge. I think the chunks on top could have been a little bit bigger. I kind of like how this looks. You know, the bigger cookie crunch, a little more recognizable as Oreo. Most importantly, let's see how they taste. Here we go. Itadakimasu. I think what I found most interesting and novel about the first bite of this fudge is the contrast of textures. I really like the crushed Oreos on top and how that texture differentiates itself from the base of the fudge, which is dense and your teeth kind of bite through it, slightly sticky and very sweet. Although I've had sweeter fudge, which I don't enjoy. Those fudges tend to be tooth-achingly sweet. They literally make your teeth hurt. They're so sweet. But this isn't. This is pleasantly sweet as a candy bar. The texture is nice. It's dense, as you would imagine and would want in a fudge. Slightly sticky, but what is great is that it really captures the cookies and cream flavor. The white chocolate is vanilled and sweet, kind of buttery, and clearly to me represents the filling of an Oreo cookie. It has that level of sweetness and that kind of reminiscent flavor profile, more flavorful in my opinion than the cream center of an Oreo cookie, which to me just tastes really sweet and is more of a kind of textural thing. It's more of like a paste. The texture of this is similar, but it's got more of a stickiness, more candy-like, and more importantly to me, more flavor. And it goes so nicely with the Oreo cookie crumbs. Winner. Total, absolute winner. Of all the fudges I've made, and I am a chocolate fan, I think this one might be my favorite. Granted, I'm not a fudge person, chocolate or any kind of fudge, but this fudge, really good. And I really think it's worth getting the little mini paper cups to put the fudge pieces in. It makes them look so polished and cute, and packed in a little box or in a little gift bag, make a perfect little gift. I love gifts made with love. Handmade, consumable gifts, to me, are the best. All right, my lovelies, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Oh my gosh, I need to get these out of here.